Hey everybody, welcome back. If you're new here, hi, I'm Mercury. So today, laundry theater is happening. I'm just sitting waiting for my laundry to happen. Not to happen, but like for the washing machine to finish cleaning it. So I figure we'll sit and have a little chat. So the other day, I went and I got my COVID booster. So this is like the second booster. I had the first booster, when it was available. And this is the bivalent booster that I just got. So this one became available last year, but you may or may not know, I got COVID when I came back from Disney World last year. And that was like in August. And then the booster was available in September. But because I had just had COVID, I wasn't eligible to get it at that moment in time. And I had to wait until I think it was December. I don't remember exactly how long I had to wait, but I was supposed to wait until at least, a certain amount of time had passed before I was eligible to get it. And as life happens, I got busy. And that's kind of a lousy excuse, but it's, just what happened, I got busy. And it wasn't first thing in my mind, and I don't like needles, so it was very easy for me to just kind of kick that can down the road, so to say. And I did kick that can down the road. And I have travel coming up in the near future, and since I think it would be a wise thing for me to do, I decided this was the time to get it. And part of the reason that I kicked the can down the road, when I got the initial vaccine and when I got the first booster, I was out of commission for a day or two afterward. I was muscle ache and tired, and I wouldn't have been fit to go to work the day after. So I had to be planful about when I would have time to be able to take care of myself. And that was part of the reason why I delayed it. So I made sure I had time this weekend. And after work on Friday, I went and I got my booster. So this is where we pause and stop talking about the booster and we start talking about my personal issues with needles. You may have seen previous videos where I've talked about this. I struggle a lot with needles. They trigger an anxiety response in me that I absolutely cannot control. More often than not leads to me fainting, and it's very uncomfortable and very scary for me. So it's part of why I kick that can down the road. So the very condensed version of this story is, when I was a very small child, I broke my arm, dislocated my elbow, needed surgery, and caught a fever after the surgery, which meant I was in the hospital for a while afterward. And when you're in the hospital, they need to do blood work, and they were not super sensitive about how they did it. And to this day, I still, when I have to go and get needles or blood work, I start getting memories, and I don't know if you would call them flashbacks, but I start getting brought back to that moment in time, which then leads me to feeling very helpless, very isolated, very scared for my own safety and well-being, because I was very small when that happened. And even though as an adult, I know there's no danger to me to go to the doctor and get these medically necessary things done. But as a small child, I had no understanding of this. And all I knew was this overwhelming sense of fear and danger. And those feelings are what flood back to me, even though in my head, I know that they're not founded in reality, if that makes sense. So that is where all this struggle with needles comes from. So it was actually getting so bad to the point that I was getting help for it for a while. And one of the things that I was told to try, and I had not had an opportunity to try it until this moment, was to try to recreate this narrative for myself so that I don't feel so helpless. And one of the suggestions I was given was that if I am in a situation where I need to, have, contact with a needle, and it is not an urgent situation. Like if I delayed by a week, no harm would come to me by making that delay, right? That I can give myself permission to leave and not go through with it. And I had never done that before. I never reframed it for myself like that before. And it had always been, oh, well, the doctor said I need it. I have to do it. I have to get this done. I have to have labs. I have to know what my cholesterol is. I have to get tested. And it was like the narrative that I had in my mind was one I had no control over. I had to go through the motions. I had to get these things done, but I had no control in those situations. But giving me back the power to say, no, if I'm not okay with this, I can walk out. I don't have to complete this appointment today. I can come back when I feel more in control and I am ready to do it. Again, as long as it doesn't pose a safety risk to me. So that was sort of like the mentality I went into, because while I was waiting, I went to like a local pharmacy to do this, to get my booster. And while I was waiting, the wait wasn't long. The wait was only 5 minutes. But 5 minutes when you have a phobia that you're about to confront, it feels like an eternity. It feels like an eternity. And I was building up in my mind how terrible this was going to be. And even like rehearsing in my mind how I was going to explain to the pharmacist that I can drop like a sack of potatoes. Because it's also embarrassing. It's really embarrassing. So it's like trying to rehearse what I'm going to say, how I'm going to explain myself, how to make sure I communicate effectively. I don't want to sound like a fool, but I want to be able to be a good advocate for myself. And like, what does that look like? And then it's like, then I have to get this needle, and what's going to happen then? And then you could see how I'm stuttering and working myself up right now. That was my internal monologue while I was waiting for that 5 minutes of eternity. And then something inside of me like clicked, and I remember that moment of taking back control. And I was like, you can leave if you want to. You may have checked in already, but nothing is keeping you staying here. If you need to leave, you can leave. You can come back tomorrow and do this. You don't have to do this today if you're not ready to do this. Tomorrow is another day, and you have permission to do this tomorrow. And I kept repeating that to myself, like, you have permission to not do this. You are allowed to do this another day. And repeating that to myself helped calm me down. It helped get those intrusive thoughts out, and it helped bring me back to where I needed to be. And I was able to complete my appointment and get my booster. And, now I am, quote unquote, fully vaccinated. I have my full vaccine and my 2 boosters, my original booster and the bivalent booster. So I did it. And the thing that like I was anticipating getting like, not feeling well the day after did not happen. My arm is a little bit sore. Like over here, it's a little bit sore. If I like chicken wing it, it's not bad. I had no other issues, no body aches, no fatigue. I was cleaning my apartment yesterday. Like, it was totally fine. And any sweat you see on me right now has nothing to do with that. I'm sitting in a very hot car waiting for my laundry. And if I have the air conditioning on, my friends, you will not be able to hear me because you'll just hear air conditioning noise. So any sweat you are seeing right now is totally unrelated. But yeah, I didn't have any of the downside to previous vaccines or boosters. And I wonder if that's because I had COVID this time, and when I got the other vaccines, I didn't actually have it. So maybe I didn't have those antibodies in me already, and it was like creating antibodies from scratch. I don't know. This is just like me wondering, because like I had COVID last year, did that make the impact of the vaccine not so bad the day after for me? I don't know, maybe not. I don't know. But yeah, I feel great that I am fully vaccinated. It's like one less thing to worry about. We have enough to worry about in life. Why have to worry about this if there's something we could do to take that worry away from us? So yeah, that's where I'm at right now. I think it's about time for me to go move the laundry along, and I need some air conditioning. It is way too hot in here. So with that, I guess I'm gonna call it, and yeah, I'll talk to you guys real soon. And until then, stay inspired by everyone. Take care.